Hi everyone, my name is Jorge Gamba. I'm a registered migration agent here at Aussizz Group, and today I'm going to speak about a few visa classes that we get a lot of inquiries on. I'll just dive straight into it. The most common type of inquiry we get is for a 485 temporary graduate visa. This is a visa that you get when you've studied in Australia for at least 2 academic years. There's 2 streams on this visa type. The first stream is the graduate stream, and then there's the post-study work stream. The graduate stream is available for those students who studied diploma level. So let's say that you studied commercial cookery and then you did a diploma of hospitality management. You can apply for this visa, but you got to nominate an occupation that is on the medium to long-term list, like chef. Then you can also apply if you studied things like diploma of electrical engineering. You can apply, you can nominate an occupation like electrical engineering draftsman. For this occupation, you have to get a skills assessment. You have to apply for a skills assessment before you lodge your actual visa application. On their own is they miss the timings on the documents that they need to provide. You need to get general IELTS 5 on each band, equivalent 6 overall, or PTE 36 with an overall mark of 50. But you have to have this document with you at the time you apply. Your AFP check, you need to apply for this before you actually apply for your visa. And in relation to the skills assessment, you need to apply for it, but you don't have to necessarily have the result before you apply. The result can come after you apply, and the case officer would usually wait for your result to come back. Traits Recognitions Australia is taking approximately 90 days for provisional skills assessment result, and immigration would usually wait that time. Now, the other stream that is available for students who studied bachelor or above is the post-study work stream. This stream is not available to students who have studied only up to diploma level. This stream is 2 years in duration, whereas the graduate stream only gives you an access to an 18-month visa. The post-study work stream gives you access to a 2-year visa with unlimited work rights on either stream. So if you've studied a Bachelor's of Nursing or Accounting, you can access this stream, and you don't have to nominate an occupation on any list. Basically, if you study any bachelor of at least 2 academic years, you can apply for this stream. If you studied a PhD and it was a 4-year course, you can have access to a 4-year 485 visa, right? So one of the pitfalls also of people doing the 485 on their own is that they will apply for the wrong stream. So some students that have done diploma level will apply for the post-study work stream. That would result in a refusal. And there would be very little, if no grounds, for you to appeal at the tribunal stage. Basically, it would be fatal for your application. Now, the streams, it's not all courses that you've studied in Australia or that you propose to study here are going to lead to a 485 visa. The courses on the graduate stream need to be aligned to an occupation that is on the medium to long-term list. Some of the courses like Leadership in Management and Program Management, they're courses that can help you build your career profile, but they don't necessarily lead to an occupation on the medium to long-term list. So that's something to be mindful of at the time that you apply. You may need to go for further study so that you can later on nominate an appropriate occupation on the long-term list, or study up to a bachelor level, so you can nominate the post-study work stream and have access to the 2-year graduate visa. During this 2-year visa, you can work full-time, but you have to have health insurance, which is different from the OHSC health insurance that you have at the student visa. You have to have the essential visitors, which at Aussizz Group we can assist you with. Now, in the past, students would have an option of being sponsored by a company right after studying. The new criteria, well, the recent criteria really, is that to be sponsored on a work visa, you need to have 2 years experience in the occupation you propose to be nominated under. So say that you have completed a bachelor's degree of accounting and you don't have any experience yet, you need to build 2 years experience before you can be sponsored by a company. Now, if you have an occupation like accounting, you may be able to go for PR even before you're sponsored, because you could apply for a skills assessment and if you have the necessary points, apply for PR. But if you do not have access to PR, then you would most likely be looking at getting sponsored by a company. The requirement is that you have at least 2 years experience in that occupation and that you meet the skill requirement. Now, this differs from occupation to occupation. Some of the skill level 1 occupations, like medical laboratory scientist, that require you to have a degree. You cannot just replace it with experience. But some of the occupations like chef, if you have 3 years experience anywhere in your work history, then you meet the skill requirement for this occupation. And you can be sponsored based on those 3 years experience. And later on, you could potentially go on and be nominated for PR or get PR on your own, either through the point system on the 189 visa or also via state nomination through the 190 visa or the 489 visa, which is a temporary visa that can lead to permanent residence later. Feel free to post your questions down below, and I will answer as many as I can before the end of the video. And if I don't get to them, I'll get to them after. Okay? So the other thing I wanted to talk about on the work visa is it's called the 42 work visa, and there is a number of steps that must happen before you can actually get sponsored. So if you find an employer that is willing to sponsor you, 3 things need to happen. The first thing is that employer needs to become an approved sponsor. They need to apply for what is called standard business sponsorship, which is their way of asking the government for permission to sponsor other people. They need to show that they have the financials to pay salary, that they are actively trading in Australia, and that they are registered for GST. Once they do that, and simultaneously, they will lodge a nomination. So, for example, in the case of a chef, a restaurant would apply for standard business sponsorship, step 1, and then step 2, they will lodge a nomination. So they will tell the government, this is how much we propose to pay the chef, and the minimum salary is 53,900 Australian dollars, but it will be according to market rate as well. So if there are other Australian chefs at the company, at this restaurant, that overseas employee would need to be at around the same level. They also need to present the position description, which is the document that states what duties you're going to be doing. And they will also need to show financials again. And they will also need to advertise the role that you propose to fill for a period of 28 days before you can actually be offered a contract. Now, this is a tricky step, and it requires some delicate balance between the employer and you, but it's something that we can assist all employees with. Also, at the nomination stage, the company will present an organizational chart to show where in the company you're going to be sitting. And in the case of a chef, it will show the kitchen hierarchy. So it will show the head chef, sous chef, and the other chefs, and it will show where in the kitchen hierarchy you will be sitting. Now, that's the second step. The third step after the standard business sponsorship nomination is the visa application. This is where you show the government that you have the skills to do the role. This is where you show that you have at least 2 years experience with qualifications. Or if you do not have qualifications, but your occupation allows it, that you have enough experience to make up the need for qualifications. Now, some of the pitfalls that can happen when people try to lodge the 482 visas on their own or with the help of their employers is that they can miss the timings on the nomination. For example, they advertise the role for too little time, or the advertisements don't have the requirements that immigration asks, which is salary, which is duties, and a number of other things that we can help you with. Also, for a 482 visa, depending on the stream that you choose, on the occupation, you would have certain requirements, and the visa will be given for a certain period of time. For example, for occupations on the medium to long-term stream, like the occupation of chef, you can get a visa of up to 4 years. For occupations that are on the short-term stream, like customer service manager, you can only get a visa up to 2 years. In some cases, you don't have to be nominated for such a long period of time. You can be nominated for a year if that's all you need to get your points up, to work on your English, to work on your NADI, to work on getting your points up. And then after that, you can go for PR. In some cases, you might need to be nominated for a longer time so that you can get your experience up. The length of the nomination depends on the length of how long your employer needs you and how long or how much they're willing to spend on the nomination. Because for each year they intend to nominate you on a work visa, they need to pay the government a certain amount of money, which is called a training levy. So they need to pay the government $1,200 if their turnover is less than 10 million, or if the turnover is more than 10 million, $1,800 for every year they intend to nominate you. So if you're a chef and your restaurant is on a turnover of less than $10 million a year, your restaurant would nominate you, let's say for 4 years, that's 1,200 times 4, that's 4,800. So that's a considerable amount of investment that we'll make in you, but our job at Aussizz Group is to help you navigate the length of time that your employer needs to keep you with enough certainty so that you can go for PR after. Now, not all occupations on the 482 list can lead to PR. Some occupations like customer service manager, you can get a 2-year work visa and you can renew it for another 2 years, but after that, there's no pathway to PR at the moment. There may be pathways in a regional area, like in South Australia, like in Tasmania, like in regional Victoria, for those occupations. But occupations on the short-term stream of the 482 list, like marketing specialist, like customer service manager, like finance manager, they are not currently leading to PR. Now, as some of you may be aware, in Australia, we are having federal elections in May. And as you know, the Minister of Immigration is the person who makes the lists. So the list could potentially change. Nobody can predict how they will change. But at Aussizz Group, we will keep you informed of any changes that happen with the lists. Now, that's the 482 work visa. The other visa we get a lot of inquiries on is the 189 GSM, General Skill Migration, which is the points visa. This is the ideal list to be on because you are not tied to any employer. If you have enough points, you can apply. Now, the points are calculated through your age, as per your English, your work experience in Australia and overseas. If you have a partner, they can give you points as well. And if you can speak another language, let's say like Gujarati or Spanish, you can get accredited as a translator through the NATI, and that can give you 5 points. For some occupations like engineering, in accounting, and ICT, you can do a professional year, and that gives you 5 points. Not only gives you 5 points, but also gives you a taste of real life experience, real life work experience in Australia, which is a benefit. It's a win-win. Now, the points are quite high at the moment. Some of you may be aware the points released in the last invitation round were quite high. Accountants need 90 points to have a realistic chance of being invited for a 189 visa. Some of the other ICT occupations like software engineering, developer programmers, they need 80, 85 points. Engineers as well, they also need around 80, 85 points. And the rest of the occupations like chefs, they need 80 points. So at the moment, the points are quite high. There may be ways that you can go around it through either state nomination, in New South Wales through Orana, in South Australia, in Tasmania, in Victoria. And if you want to have a chat about them and your options, not only in Melbourne, in Victoria, and Sydney, but all across Australia, please get in touch with me or call the Aussizz office on 0390 02 3435. Our number is on the website, and we'd love to have a chance to speak with you about how we can maximize your points, give you the best chance to get PR, hopefully on your own, if you have an occupation that is eligible for PR. But if you're not, then we can work out a pathway for you to work towards getting yourself in a position where you can be sponsored or where you can go for PR on your own. So that's the 189 visa. The other visa we get a lot of inquiries on is the partner visa. Now, with the partner visa, there are 3 ways to meet the main criteria, which is you either have to be married, you either have to be in a registered relationship in a state, like in Victoria, you can register your relationship. In some other states like WA, that's not possible at the moment. Or you either have to be living together for 12 months as a de facto couple. Now, how do you prove that you're a de facto couple? There are many ways to prove it. Every relationship is different. But the main 4 criteria to meet is that you have household items that you share, that you have financial commitments to one another, that you have a social face that other friends can attest to the legitimacy of your relationship, and then to show commitment, which you need to write letters to the department, letters to one another, outlining how your relationship evolved and came to the point where you are. And those are the type of things that we can help you navigate. Now, a partner visa is a very long commitment because a partner visa from beginning to end is around 3 years in commitment from the time that you apply until the time you get your provisional 820 visa, until the time you get your 801 full permanent residence. There is around a 3 to 4 year wait. And it's a big commitment financially. $7,160. That's a lot of money for one application. And Aussizz, what we try to do is we'll try to get it as best as we can for you, because it is a big commitment that you'll be undertaking. And what we'll do is we'll help you, you and your partner or your spouse, present all the evidence in a timely manner, in an orderly manner, so the case officer can understand the nature of your relationship. A lot of the times people would lodge partner visas on their own, but oftentimes the pitfalls that they encounter is not understanding how the department sees you, right? The department doesn't have the time to get to know everything about you. They need to be presented with evidence that is orderly, that is clear, and to understand at all aspects of your relationship. And if you don't do that, and you rely on the good faith of the case officer, you may be asking for a refusal, and then you will have to appeal. Now, that would take a long time, but it's not something that you want to gamble with. You want to get proper advice as to how to structure the evidence of your relationship in the best way possible, so that you don't have to go for an appeal and you end up waiting 5 years for one visa. Those are the main types of visas that I want to talk about today. We get inquiries on a lot of other visas, visitor visas, we get student visas, we can help you with business visas, all sorts of visas. But for now, I'll leave it there. I'll try to answer some of your questions below. But otherwise, if I don't get to them, I will answer them after the video has gone live. So let me first get to the questions. Hi Mandeep, send me contact number. You can contact me on WhatsApp. You can contact me. My mobile number is 04157 680 62. You can contact me on WhatsApp. I repeat, my number is 04157 680 62. And if you have any other queries, feel free. I'll leave my email down below. If you want to have a chat with me or with any other of our capable migration agents, more than happy to have you. We're located at level 1, 290 Collins Street in Melbourne CBD. Would love to see you here. And until next time, thanks very much.